What if I told you that a single second could change the course of your entire life? Not an hour, not a day, just 1 second. The second between what happens to you and how you choose to respond. Most people never notice that second. They live as if life is a series of automatic reactions. Someone criticizes them, they become angry. Someone ignores them, they feel rejected. A plan falls apart, they panic. A stranger insults them, they fire back without thinking. They believe they're making choices, but in reality, they're simply reacting, like leaves being carried wherever the wind decides to blow. The Stoics saw something different. They believed that hidden inside every difficult moment is a space, a tiny, almost invisible pause. And inside that pause lies the greatest power a human being can possess, the power to choose. Marcus Aurelius once spent years leading armies through war, disease, political betrayal, and unimaginable pressure. Yet despite all of that chaos, he reminded himself of one profound truth. You always have the power to govern your own mind. Think about that. He didn't say you control the weather. He didn't say you control the economy. He didn't say you control other people. He said you control your own mind. That simple idea has the power to transform your entire life. Because if you master your mind, you stop becoming a prisoner of circumstances. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. Your phone is filled with bad news. An important meeting is canceled. Someone sends you a rude message. Traffic is worse than usual. Nothing goes according to plan. Most people would call that a terrible day. But what if your peace didn't depend on perfect circumstances? What if your happiness wasn't controlled by strangers? What if your emotional state wasn't determined by events beyond your control? That is exactly what Stoicism teaches. Not how to escape problems, but how to become bigger than them. Here's a question worth asking. Why do some people remain calm under enormous pressure, while others fall apart over the smallest inconvenience? Why can two people experience the exact same situation, yet walk away with completely different outcomes? Imagine two co-workers. Both receive harsh criticism from their manager. The first immediately becomes defensive. They argue. They blame others. They spend the rest of the day replaying the conversation in their head. By the time they get home, they're exhausted. The criticism lasted 5 minutes. The suffering lasted 12 hours. Now imagine the second coworker. They hear the same words. They listen carefully. They separate useful feedback from unnecessary emotion. They improve where improvement is needed. Then they move forward. Same criticism, different response, different life. The event wasn't the deciding factor. The response was. That is one of the greatest lessons Stoicism has to offer. Your future is shaped less by what happens to you and more by how you respond to it. Unfortunately, modern life encourages exactly the opposite. Everything around us is designed to trigger instant reactions. Social media rewards outrage. News headlines compete for your fear. Notifications demand immediate attention. Arguments happen in seconds. Opinions spread before wisdom has a chance to speak. We become a society that reacts first and reflects later, sometimes never. Think about how often you've sent a message you later wished you hadn't, or spoken words you couldn't take back, or made decisions based entirely on temporary emotions. We've all been there. That's what makes Stoicism so relevant today. Even though these ideas are over 2,000 years old, they solve some of our most modern problems. The Stoics understood something extraordinary. They knew that emotions themselves were not the enemy. Anger isn't the enemy. Fear isn't the enemy. Sadness isn't the enemy. The real danger is allowing those emotions to become your master. Imagine driving a carriage pulled by powerful horses. The horses represent your emotions. Strong, energetic, necessary. But imagine if the horses took complete control. They run wherever they please, ignoring the road, ignoring danger, ignoring your destination. Eventually, disaster becomes inevitable. Now imagine holding the reins firmly. The horses still have power, but you decide the direction. That is what responding instead of reacting looks like. Your emotions still exist. You simply refuse to let them make your decisions. This is where most people misunderstand Stoicism. They believe Stoics tried to eliminate emotion. Nothing could be further from the truth. Marcus Aurelius felt grief. Seneca experienced disappointment. Epictetus knew suffering better than most people ever will. They weren't emotionless. They were emotionally disciplined. There's an enormous difference. One avoids feelings. The other understands them without becoming controlled by them. Think about the ocean. During a storm, the surface becomes violent. Massive waves crash in every direction. But deep beneath the surface, the water remains calm. Most people live only on the surface of their minds. Every opinion becomes a wave. Every inconvenience becomes a storm. Every insult becomes a hurricane. The Stoics learned to live deeper, where calmness exists even when life becomes chaotic. Wouldn't that be an incredible way to live? To remain steady when everyone else is panicking. To stay clear-headed when others are overwhelmed. To protect your peace regardless of what's happening around you. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Many of the things that disturb us never actually happen. We imagine conversations before they occur. We create worst-case scenarios. We assume people dislike us. We fear failures that never arrive. We suffer in advance. Seneca famously observed that we often suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think about how much time you spent worrying about something, only to realize later it wasn't nearly as bad as you expected. Hours, days, maybe even years, all because your mind reacted before reality unfolded. The Stoic doesn't ignore danger. They simply refuse to let imagination become a prison. Imagine carrying a backpack. Every unnecessary worry becomes another stone. Every imagined argument adds more weight. Every fear of the future becomes another burden. Eventually, life itself feels heavy, not because reality is unbearable, but because your reactions have become unbearable. The Stoics invite us to put that backpack down, not all at once, one stone at a time, one thought at a time, one response at a time. This brings us to the most important realization of all. Every day, life asks you the same question, not through words, but through experiences. Someone disappoints you. Life asks, will you react or respond? Someone insults you. Life asks, will you react or respond? Your plans fall apart. Life asks again, will you react or respond? Every challenge is an opportunity to practice. Every setback is a lesson. Every difficult person is a teacher in disguise. The quality of your life depends on how often you choose the second option. But here's the problem. If responding is so powerful, why is reacting so natural? Why do intelligent people still lose control of their emotions? Why do we continue making the same mistakes, even when we know better? The answer lies deep within the human mind. And once you understand it, you'll never see your thoughts or your emotions the same way again. Because the Stoics discovered a timeless truth about the way our minds work. A truth that can completely transform how you experience every challenge, every relationship, and every moment of your life. And that's exactly what we'll uncover next. So why do we react so quickly? Why does a single comment have the power to ruin an entire day? Why does one moment of disappointment sometimes linger in our mind for weeks? The Stoics believed it wasn't because we are weak. It was because we are untrained. Think about an untrained horse. The smallest sound startles it. A sudden movement sends it running. It follows every impulse without direction. Now think about a horse that has been carefully trained. It still hears the noise. It still notices the movement, but it doesn't panic. It waits for guidance. Your mind works the same way. If you never train it, it will react to every emotion, every opinion, and every inconvenience. But if you discipline it, it begins to respond with wisdom instead of impulse. This is why Epictetus taught one of the most powerful lessons in all of Stoicism. It's not what happens to you that disturbs you. It's the judgment you make about what happens. Read that again. Not the event, the judgment. Imagine you're walking down the street. A stranger looks at you for a second and then walks away. What actually happened? A person looked at you. That's all. But your mind might say, they were judging me. Maybe I look ridiculous. Did I do something wrong? Now imagine another person in the exact same situation. They think, maybe they thought I looked familiar. Or they don't think about it at all. The event never changed. Only the interpretation did. This is one of the greatest discoveries the Stoics made. Between reality and your suffering, there's often a story, and your mind is the author. The problem is that most people believe every story their mind tells them. They never question it. A friend doesn't reply to a message. Immediately they think, they're ignoring me. A coworker seems quiet. They must be upset with me. A business opportunity falls through. I'll never succeed. Notice how quickly the mind jumps to conclusions, without evidence, without certainty, without reason. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to see things as they truly are, not as emotion first presents them. That single habit changed the way he experienced life. Imagine wearing a pair of dark glasses. Everywhere you look seems gloomy. The world hasn't changed. Only the lens has. Your thoughts are that lens. When your mind is filled with fear, you see threats everywhere. When it's filled with resentment, you notice every insult. When it's filled with gratitude and wisdom, even hardship begins to look different. The Stoics weren't trying to change reality. They were changing the lens through which they viewed reality. Now here's something fascinating. Have you ever noticed how quickly emotions spread? Walk into a room where everyone is angry. Within minutes, you begin feeling tense. Spend time around chronic complainers. Eventually, you start complaining too. Emotions are contagious, but so is calmness. Think about the last time you were panicking and someone beside you remained completely composed. Their calmness affected you. Their steady voice slowed your breathing. Their confidence reminded you that everything might be okay. This is why Stoicism isn't only a gift to yourself. It's a gift to everyone around you. When you become someone who responds instead of reacts, your presence begins changing the atmosphere of every room you enter. Your family notices. Your friends notice. Your coworkers notice. People begin trusting you during difficult moments because they know you won't lose your head when life becomes complicated. That kind of presence cannot be purchased. It is earned through discipline. Now, let's talk about one of the greatest enemies of wise responses, the ego. The ego wants to be right. The ego wants the last word. The ego wants revenge. The ego wants everyone to recognize its importance. The Stoics saw the ego as one of the biggest obstacles to inner peace. Imagine someone criticizes your work. Your ego immediately whispers, defend yourself. Show them they're wrong. Don't let anyone think you're weak. But wisdom asks a different question. Is there something useful I can learn? Do you see the difference? The ego is obsessed with protecting its image. Wisdom is obsessed with improving its character. One leads to endless conflict. The other leads to endless growth. Seneca once wrote that the person who has learned how to live has unlearned how to be a slave. A slave to what? Not only circumstances, but also to uncontrolled emotions. Think about how many people spend their lives enslaved by anger. Every insult controls them. Every inconvenience changes their mood. Every disagreement steals their peace. The Stoic refuses that kind of slavery, because freedom isn't doing whatever you feel like doing. Freedom is refusing to be controlled by every feeling that appears. Here's an exercise the Stoics practiced. Whenever something upset them, they asked, will this matter a year from now? Imagine the argument you had last month. How important does it seem today? What about the embarrassing mistake you made 5 years ago? How often do you think about it now? Time has a remarkable way of shrinking the things we once believed were enormous. The Stoics learned to borrow that perspective in the present. Instead of living inside today's emotions, they imagined looking back from the future. Suddenly, many problems became much smaller. Now, consider another lesson. Life doesn't always give you time to prepare. A phone call changes everything. A diagnosis arrives unexpectedly. A relationship ends. A job disappears. These moments don't ask whether you're ready. They simply arrive. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. That's why they trained every day. Not because they expected life to be easy, because they expected life to be unpredictable. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up hoping nothing difficult would happen. He reminded himself that difficult people would appear, that obstacles would come, that disappointments were inevitable. Strangely, this didn't make him anxious. It made him resilient, because when hardship arrived, it wasn't a surprise. It was an opportunity to practice. Think of an archer. The archer controls how they stand, how they breathe, how they aim, how they release the arrow. But once the arrow leaves the bow, the wind takes over. The Stoics believe life works the same way. Focus completely on your effort, then accept whatever result follows. Reacting obsesses over outcomes. Responding focuses on actions. One creates anxiety, the other creates peace. Slowly, this way of thinking begins changing every part of your life. You become less offended, less impatient, less afraid, not because problems disappear, because you stop giving them unlimited power over your mind. People may even begin asking, how do you stay so calm? They'll think you were born that way, but they'll never see the quiet work happening inside you. The countless moments when you chose reflection instead of impulse. The hundreds of times you paused before speaking. The daily decision to govern your own thoughts rather than letting them govern you. This is how the Stoics became so remarkably steady. Not through talent, through practice. But understanding these ideas is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when philosophy becomes habit. So, how do you actually train your mind every single day to respond instead of react? What practical exercises did the Stoics use to build this extraordinary level of self-control? The answers are surprisingly simple, yet powerful enough to change the way you think for the rest of your life. And that's exactly what we'll explore in the next part. Knowledge alone will never change your life. You can read every book on Stoicism. Memorize the words of Marcus Aurelius. Quote Seneca. Study Epictetus for years. But if you continue reacting to every inconvenience exactly as you did before, nothing changes. The Stoics understood a simple truth. Wisdom is not measured by what you know. It is measured by how you live. That is why they didn't simply study philosophy. They practiced it every single day because they knew that character isn't built by inspiration. It's built by repetition. Imagine a blacksmith forging a sword. One strike of the hammer changes very little, but thousands of strikes shape a blade strong enough to withstand almost anything. Your mind works the same way. Every time you choose to respond instead of react, you're shaping your character, one decision at a time, one conversation at a time, one challenge at a time. So, how do you train your mind to do this consistently? Let's explore the same kinds of practices that help the Stoics develop extraordinary emotional discipline. Practice 1. Slow down before you decide. Modern life teaches speed. Answer immediately. Reply instantly. React without delay. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Slow down. Not because you're indecisive, because wisdom moves more carefully than emotion. The next time something upsets you, don't make an immediate decision. Don't send the text. Don't write the email. Don't raise your voice. Instead, create a small pause. Take one deep breath. Then ask yourself, am I responding from wisdom or from emotion? That single question has the power to prevent countless regrets. Most of life's biggest mistakes are not caused by a lack of intelligence. They're caused by a lack of patience. Practice 2. Observe your thoughts without believing them. One of the greatest skills you can develop is learning that a thought is not automatically a fact. Imagine your thoughts as clouds moving across the sky. Some are light, some are dark, some disappear quickly, others linger for a while, but none of them are the sky itself. You are the one observing them. Suppose your mind says, I'm going to fail. Pause. Ask yourself, is this reality or just fear speaking? Or perhaps your mind says, that person doesn't respect me. Again, ask, do I know this is certain? Most emotional reactions begin because we mistake assumptions for facts. The Stoics challenged every unnecessary assumption, and in doing so, they protected themselves from unnecessary suffering. Practice 3. Separate what you control from what you don't. This may be the most famous Stoic exercise ever taught. Every challenge can be divided into 2 parts, the part you control and the part you don't. Imagine you're preparing for an important interview. You control your preparation, your attitude, your punctuality, your honesty, your effort. You do not control the interviewer's mood, the competition, unexpected events, the final decision. Most people spend their energy worrying about the second list. The Stoics invested everything in the first. Every time anxiety appears, ask yourself, what is mind control? Then give your full attention to that. Leave the rest alone. Not because it doesn't matter, because worrying about it changes nothing. Action creates progress. Anxiety rarely does. Practice 4. Practice voluntary silence. Here's a habit that feels uncomfortable at first, but becomes incredibly powerful over time. Not every opinion deserves your response. Not every disagreement deserves your participation. Not every criticism deserves an explanation. The Stoics understood that silence often communicates more strength than endless words. Imagine standing beside a deep lake. Someone throws a small stone into it. The ripples appear, then disappear. The lake remains. Now imagine a shallow puddle. The same stone creates chaos. The difference isn't the stone, it's the depth. The deeper your character becomes, the less every small disturbance affects you. This doesn't mean becoming passive. It means becoming intentional. Speak because your words improve the situation, not because your emotions demand it. Practice 5. Rehearse challenges before they happen. Marcus Aurelius prepared himself every morning, not by expecting perfection, by expecting reality. Before your day begins, spend 1 minute reminding yourself, today, someone may misunderstand me. Someone may criticize me. Plans may change. Unexpected problems may arise. Then add one final sentence. Whatever happens, I will choose my response. Notice what this does. Instead of being shocked by life's difficulties, you become ready for them. Preparation removes panic. Expectation reduces frustration. Awareness builds resilience. Practice 6. End every day with reflection. The Stoics believed that every evening was an opportunity to become wiser. Before we go to sleep, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Where did I react instead of respond? Be honest, not harsh. Learning begins with honesty. Finally, what will I do differently tomorrow? This simple habit transforms every mistake into a lesson. Over time, you'll begin noticing patterns. You'll discover what triggers you most. You'll recognize situations where you lose patience. And once you recognize them, you can begin changing them. Self-awareness always comes before self-mastery. The invisible victories. Here's something the world rarely celebrates. The greatest victories often happen where no one else can see them. The moment you choose not to send the angry message. The moment you decide not to argue. The moment you let go of resentment. The moment you remain calm while everyone else is panicking. No one applauds those moments. There are no trophies, no headlines, no standing ovations. Yet those quiet victories shape your future far more than public achievements ever could. Character is built in private. Imagine planting a seed. For weeks, nothing seems to happen. No one sees the roots growing beneath the soil. But one day, the tree begins to rise. Strong, steady, unshakable. Your Stoic practice is exactly the same. At first, the changes seem invisible. Then people begin noticing something different about you. They notice you don't get offended as easily. You don't panic under pressure. You don't chase every argument. You don't allow every setback to ruin your day. They'll think you've changed overnight. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't one moment. It was hundreds of quiet decisions made long before anyone noticed. Because every time you respond instead of react, you become just a little stronger, a little wiser, a little calmer, until one day, the person you used to be feels like someone you've left behind. And that's when something extraordinary happens. You stop trying to control life. You start mastering yourself. And once you've mastered yourself, very little in the outside world can truly disturb you. But there's one final lesson the Stoics wanted every student to understand. One lesson that ties everything together. Because responding instead of reacting doesn't just change your emotions, it changes your identity. And when your identity changes, your entire life follows. There's a quiet power that very few people ever discover. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't need applause. Yet once you possess it, your entire life begins to change. It is the power of remaining in control of yourself. especially when life invites you not to. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are you don't admire them because they had the easiest lives. You admire them because of how they responded to difficult lives. History rarely remembers people for the problems they faced. It remembers them for the character they displayed while facing those problems. Marcus Aurelius wasn't remembered because Rome was peaceful. It wasn't. He faced war, political betrayal, disease, the unimaginable burden of leading an empire. Yet centuries later, people still read his words because he understood one truth that never grows old. You cannot always control what happens around you, but you can always train yourself to choose your response. That is the foundation of Stoicism, and perhaps the foundation of a meaningful life. Because here's the reality. Life will continue testing you. There will still be criticism, still be rejection, still be disappointment, still be unexpected setbacks, still be people who misunderstand you. The difference is, those moments will no longer define you. Imagine standing beneath a giant oak tree during a storm. The wind pushes against it from every direction. The rain falls heavily. Branches bend. Leaves scatter. Yet the roots remain firm. The storm cannot uproot what has grown deep enough. Your mind is no different. If your peace depends on everything going well, the smallest inconvenience will shake you. But if your peace is rooted in wisdom, life storms become something you can endure rather than something that destroys you. This is what the Stoics spent their lives cultivating. Not comfort, strength, not certainty, resilience, not control over the world, control over themselves. Now ask yourself a simple question. Who do you become every time you react without thinking? Perhaps you become impatient, defensive, fearful, impulsive. Now ask another question. Who do you become every time you pause, reflect, and choose your response? You become calmer, wiser, more disciplined, more trustworthy, more confident. Notice something remarkable. Every response is shaping your identity. Every single day, you're casting votes for the kind of person you'll become. One angry reaction doesn't make you an angry person, but thousands of angry reactions slowly build an angry character. One calm response doesn't make you perfectly wise, but thousands of calm responses build a wise life. Character is nothing more than repeated choices. The Stoics understood this better than almost anyone. That's why they focus less on dramatic change and more on daily discipline. Most people wait for motivation. The Stoics practice regardless of how they felt. Some mornings, you'll wake up feeling patient. Other mornings, you won't. Some days, remaining calm will feel easy. Other days, it will feel almost impossible. Practice anyway, because discipline matters most on the days when emotions are strongest. Imagine a musician. They don't practice only when they feel inspired. They practice until excellence becomes natural. The same applies to your mind. Train it daily, not because every day is difficult, but because one difficult day will eventually arrive. And when it does, you'll respond according to your training, not according to your fear. One of the greatest misunderstandings about strength is believing it always looks dramatic. People imagine strength as shouting louder, winning every debate, always having the perfect comeback. Stoicism reveals something far more profound. Sometimes, strength looks like listening instead of interrupting, walking away instead of arguing, smiling instead of becoming offended, remaining silent instead of proving a point, choosing peace instead of pride. These quiet victories often require more courage than public ones, because they demand that you conquer the hardest opponent you will ever face, your own impulses. There's an old Stoic idea that every obstacle contains a seed of an opportunity. Think about that. Every difficult conversation, an opportunity to practice patience. Every criticism, an opportunity to practice humility. Every disappointment, an opportunity to practice resilience. Every delay, an opportunity to practice acceptance. The obstacle itself becomes a training. Without difficult people, how would you develop compassion? Without setbacks, how would you discover perseverance? Without uncertainty, how would you strengthen your courage? The Stoics didn't ask for easier lives. They asked to become stronger people. And that's a completely different way of living. Imagine looking back at your life 10 years from now. You won't remember every email, every traffic jam, every rude comment, every inconvenience, but you will remember the person you became. Will you become someone controlled by circumstances or someone guided by principles? Will you become someone who reacts to every challenge or someone who responds with wisdom? That decision begins today, not tomorrow, not next month, today, because every interaction gives you another opportunity to practice. The next time someone criticizes you, pause. The next time life doesn't go according to plan, pause. The next time your emotions demand immediate action, pause. That pause may last only a few seconds, but those few seconds have the power to change relationships, careers, decisions, and ultimately, lives. Never underestimate the power of a single wise response. One calm conversation can save a friendship. One thoughtful decision can protect your future. One moment of patience can prevent years of regret. This is why the Stoics place such enormous value on mastering the mind, because they understood that every external victory begins with an internal one. If you cannot govern yourself, no amount of success will bring lasting peace. But if you can govern yourself, even difficult circumstances lose much of their power over you. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 7 days, commit to one simple practice. Every time something triggers an emotional reaction, don't respond immediately. Take one deep breath. Ask yourself, am I about to react or respond? Then choose a response that aligns with the person you want to become, not the person your emotions are trying to create in that moment. If you do this consistently, you'll notice something extraordinary. You'll worry less, argue less, regret less. You'll begin protecting your energy instead of wasting it. You'll become calmer under pressure, clearer in your thinking, stronger in your character. And one day, people will say, "You've changed." Nothing seems to shake you anymore. How do you stay so calm? They'll think your peace appeared overnight, but you'll know the truth. It was built one response at a time, one decision at a time, one day at a time, because that's how transformation always happens. Quietly, patiently, consistently. Before we end, remember this. Life doesn't ask whether you'll face challenges. It asks how you'll respond when they arrive. Your response is your power. Your discipline is your freedom. Your character is your greatest achievement. So don't spend your life trying to control every circumstance. Spend it mastering the one thing that has always belonged to you, your own mind. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more timeless lessons on Stoicism, self-discipline, emotional resilience, and personal growth. And before you go, share your thoughts in the comments. What situation in your life will you choose to respond to instead of react to this week? Your story could encourage someone else to begin their own journey toward inner peace. Until next time, remember, the strongest person isn't the one who wins every battle. The strongest person is the one who refuses to lose themselves in the middle of one.